I'd next like to say a word about the man who will introduce our second honoree tonight, and that's Lloyd Blankfein, who will introduce our second honoree, Robert Iger. Lloyd Blankfein is a true American success story. As a youngster, he worked as a concession vendor at Yankee Stadium and went on to graduate from Harvard College and earned his law degree from the Harvard Law School. He's a partner in a law firm, served as co-head of the Fixed Income, Currency, and Commodities Division at its foundation, before becoming chairman and CEO of Goldman Sachs Group, one of the most important financial institutions in the world. Under his stewardship, Goldman Sachs has prospered in extremely difficult and challenging financial times. He and Goldman Sachs have been consistent supporters of strengthening U.S. China relations. And it is my pleasure to welcome Lloyd Blankfein to come to the podium to introduce our second honoree.
Carla, thank you very much. Good evening, everyone. It's my honor to introduce one of the most thoughtful and effective business leaders of our day, Bob Iger. Bob and Disney are being recognized tonight for the work they have done to cultivate strong relations between China and the U.S. through a deep belief in the importance of long-term growth in China. It's a commitment shared by Goldman Sachs, as we also believe it's critical to the future prosperity of both countries. A growing middle class and rising levels of wealth in China will serve as one of the greatest engines of growth for the world economy over the coming years. Strong, visionary leadership is necessary in order to realize the long-term opportunities, and Bob is one such leader. I admire Bob tremendously for his stewardship of Disney over the past decade. Shrewd acquisitions like Pixar and Marvel have enhanced its already legendary stable of content. The Pixar acquisition, in particular, gave Disney access to the technological and marketing brilliance of Steve Jobs, who subsequently joined Disney's board. I know that Steve and Bob were close friends and confidants. Of all the wonderful things Bob has accomplished at Disney, among his proudest is the new Shanghai theme park currently in development. There is no more iconic American brand than Disney, and when the familiar spire of the Magic Kingdom rises over mainland China, it will be a powerful symbol of how far the relationship between our two countries has come. In addition to Bob's many personal accolades, under his leadership, Disney has been recognized as one of America's most admired companies by Fortune 3 times, one of the world's most respected companies by Barron's twice, and one of the best places to launch a career by Businessweek 4 years running. As many of you know, Bob recently announced that he intends to step down from his CEO duties in 2015, which thankfully is a ways off. Knowing his passion, energy, and range of interests, 2015 will not mark a true retirement for Bob, but rather the opening of a new chapter. In addition to his service as a board member of this organization, he is a member of President Obama's Export Council. He is also a member of the board of directors of the National September 11th Memorial and Museum and the Lincoln Center for the Performing Arts. Before we bring Bob up to the stage, I would like to direct your attention to the screens for a brief video on Disney's work in China and Hong Kong.
Since the premiere of the first Mickey Mouse cartoon in 1929, the Walt Disney Company has been entertaining generations of Chinese fans for more than 80 years. But in some ways, we are just beginning. Perhaps nowhere is the company's expansion in China more noticeable than in our parks and resorts business. Work is well underway on our expansion project at Hong Kong Disneyland, Hong Kong's premier family tourist destination. Guests will get to enjoy 3 brand new areas. The first, Toy Story Land, opens later this year and will allow guests to interact with their favorite characters from the immensely popular Toy Story films. And we recently broke ground on the Shanghai Disney Resort, scheduled to open in 5 years. The new resort will include a Magic Kingdom-style theme park, a dining and shopping district, and 2 hotels that will be authentically Disney and distinctly Chinese. One of Disney's most popular attractions, It's a Small World, connects with guests everywhere. It represents a world where people are linked together irrespective of cultural differences. That connection has been part of Disney since the very beginning, and is as important as ever as we grow and expand throughout China and the world for years to come.
Please join me in welcoming the President and Chief Executive Officer of the Walt Disney Company, Bob Iger.
I know what you're thinking. I couldn't possibly have a serious job, right, when you look at that video? I'm glad, Lloyd, you mentioned Steve Jobs. After Steve quoted Steve earlier in the evening, I was thinking about a collection of coincidences. As almost everybody knows, Steve Jobs was an incredible dreamer and a very big thinker. And he and I had a number of conversations about China. He was a big believer in Disney in China and Apple in China as well. And he was not only someone who exhorted me to get that deal done, which was 10 years in the making, but he was incredibly supportive about it and excited about it when it happened. Now, the company was founded by someone who also had a lot of big ideas and was a big dreamer. That was Walt Disney. He founded the company in 1923. Walt died coincidentally in 1966, which is the year, 45 years ago, that this organization was created. And I was thinking about that coincidence, too. If someone had said to Walt Disney in 1966 that a Disneyland was going to be built in Shanghai, as big a dreamer as he was, I'm not so sure he would have seen that dream. I don't know. Maybe. So, Walt, if you're up there somewhere, or Steve, thanks for starting it all, and thanks for the support. And thank all of you, and Lloyd as well, a generous introduction to me. And on behalf of everybody at the Walt Disney Company, I am grateful to receive this honor from this National Committee on U.S. China Relations. And we applaud and support your successful efforts to foster a strong relationship between 2 of the most dynamic nations in the world. I had the privilege tonight of actually learning more about the organization, and I must say you are indeed worthy of applause. It's also a distinct honor to have Ambassador Zhang and Ambassador Sun with us tonight for this celebration of the mutual respect and cooperation that exists between our countries. I've had a good chance to speak with the ambassador tonight at dinner, and I'm trying to get him to Disneyland as soon as possible. We've had presidents of China visit Disneyland. Now it's time for the ambassador to the United States to visit. A lot of pressure on you. I actually made my first trip to China in the late 1970s. I worked for ABC Sports. I was actually meeting with the North Koreans there because I wanted to bring table tennis to North Korea, thinking maybe it would help, but I think I was a little too optimistic. Since the 70s, I've actually been visiting China on an annual basis, helping to foster a relationship with ABC Sports and ABC, and then through my years working with Disney. And during that time, I've watched China emerge into a global economic force, an inspiring source of great innovation, offering opportunities that we see as virtually unlimited. And the Walt Disney Company has certainly been increasing its presence in that vast country as that tape suggested, and I can't think about a market in the United States that's more dynamic at this point than China is. Now, we're a company, I think everyone knows, that's driven by creative excellence and innovation. We're also grounded in great legacy and history, much like China itself. And in fact, I was looking through the Disney archives fairly recently, and we discovered a lot of pictures that Walt Disney had taken of his children at a small park in Los Angeles. And he mused when he watched his children that he thought that the world could provide children with better entertainment experiences. Nothing wrong with a nice park in a city, but he thought we could do better than that. And that dream actually became Walt's dream to build Disneyland. He created Disneyland with his kids in mind, and it opened in 1955. Since then, the rest is history. Millions and millions of people from all over the world, children, parents, grandparents, have visited Disneyland. And many people have grown up aspiring to visit Disneyland. I grew up in the United States in the 50s, and one of my greatest dreams was to visit Disneyland. It took me a while, by the way. I had to go work for the company before I visited. And in 2005, we brought the dream, or the reality of that dream, to the people of Hong Kong, you saw in that video, and we brought that special aspiration not only to Hong Kong, but to the entire southern Chinese region. About 50% of the people who visit Hong Kong Disneyland today actually come from mainland China. So the park has far exceeded our expectations, and in fact, we're hard at work, as you saw in that video, of expanding it greatly. Now, after many, many years of hard work and negotiation, and a great deal of support from our partners in China, last April we broke ground on our next big venture, Shanghai Disneyland. Now, I've been CEO of this company for 6 years, and I was president starting in 2000, so I've been around a while. I can't think of anything that has been more satisfying or gratifying, more exhilarating than finally breaking ground for Shanghai Disneyland. Now, I realize we didn't give much away in that video, except Mickey wearing Chinese garb, and I promise you it's going to be more than that. Disneyland Shanghai is going to be uniquely Chinese, but of course authentically Disney. It's going to allow us now to bring those magical experiences to millions and millions and millions of new families to share. And it also marks our largest investment as a company outside the United States. In fact, it's the largest investment we've ever made outside the United States. At its heart, you're going to have a Disneyland Castle, which happens to be the tallest castle we will have ever built. I mean, this is Shanghai, by the way. You have to build big. We're also excited about becoming part of the Shanghai community and welcoming its people into our Disney family. We're certainly grateful for the support that we've had from the central government, from the Shanghai government, and from our new partners, the Shanghai Shendi Group, who have worked also tirelessly with us to bring the dream of Disneyland to tremendous potential in China, not just because we want to expand our businesses there, but we actually forge great, long-lasting experiences, lifelong connections for people all over the world. That's what we do best, and we can't wait to do that in China. We're also involved in a lot of other businesses in China. In fact, one of them that I'm particularly excited about is an English language learning business, and we've now opened English language learning centers throughout China. Thousands of Chinese children have been learning English in these innovative centers that we built with the help of very talented teachers and effective techniques, and we're actually using Disney characters. And I've been able to watch some of these classes in action, and I've never seen kids have more fun learning anything. Our language centers, interestingly enough, are also becoming community centers, and they're bringing families and neighbors together in an environment that we've designed, and we're dedicated to the future of their children's learning, and in this case, learning English, which I think is a great way to improve relations between our countries. Now, for me, that's a sign that Disney has got it right. There are about 30,000 kids at this point that are learning English in Disney English language learning centers, and we think we're adding a lot of value, building trust, and we certainly feel that we've been welcomed by the communities. We've also worked hard to establish a number of mutually beneficial relationships with many officials throughout China. We're inspired by their vision, and we're grateful that they share many of our beliefs, including one about the importance of intellectual property protection. Now, as a company, obviously, our strength and value is inextricably linked to protecting our intellectual property, and we're pleased that we've made progress in that regard. Just one of the many strategic moves that we think China is making to encourage investment and to unleash growth for its people and its partners. Now, when we look at China today, we see a country entering an incredibly exciting era with a rapidly emerging middle class. We see them steeped in optimism and acquiring the means to expand their lives with many new experiences. We also see a vast generation of children who will grow up in a period of great opportunity and probably be shaped by its influence, and those same things make this a very exciting era for the Walt Disney Company in China as well. I happen to firmly believe that strong collaboration between China and the United States aligns our two economies and the most recognized innovators in the world, and that's going to generate untold opportunity. It's going to require an unprecedented level of cooperation and patience, a clear vision, and a lot of goodwill, not to mention a tremendous amount of hard work, but I firmly believe that the success created will prove the efforts and the risks were worthwhile. So I want to thank very much the National Committee of U.S. China Relations for working so diligently to lead the way toward that future. Thank you all on behalf of the Walt Disney Company for this great honor, and invite you all to the opening of Shanghai Disneyland 2015. Thank you very much.